Hi everybody, this is going to be a little quick tutorial, I guess, on reborning. I've been reborning about 5 years, and this is about number 66 that I'm working on now, Moby. And I wanted to give you some tips while I remembered them, because I just put the first 2 flesh coats on this doll, and some things that I need to remember each time I do a new doll is have a pattern. Have the same pattern, particularly in the beginning when you're doing the first few coats of flesh tone. And the reason for that is you want to remember which part that you have done already. Like you want to have the same number of coats on each one of the limbs. Sometimes I would remember, oh, okay, did I do that limb already? So I always start with the arms. And I always make a mental note, okay, 1 arm done, 2 arms done. Then I do the legs. And I make a mental note, 1 arm done, 1 leg done, 2 legs done, and then I do the head. And that way you can keep track of having the same number of coats on each limb. So that's just a cute little, little trick. And the next trick is learn from each doll that you do what works better. And for me, the more layers of paint, the better the doll looks. And the earlier you start your mottling layer, the better, because it looks like it's under the skin more. So I might do a mottling layer right now and a crease layer right now after the 2 coats of flesh color that I used. So this is my messy workspace. That's the flesh color that I used, and I always cover it up. And I use the sponge with the plucked out holes for my mottling layers and blushing the creases, and that's pretty much the color I use for that. And also, you get to know which brand of cosmetic wedges are better. I can't separate these two with one hand, but I have learned that Walmart's brand are better than Dollar General brand. They're denser and they just work better. So that's just a tip for me. The dollar store brand is flimsy and they just don't do as well as the Walmart brand, but make sure that there's no vitamin E added, because sometimes Walmart will add vitamin E to their cosmetic wedges, and that is just not good. The next tip that I recommend is that you always have a toothpick while you're putting paint on, particularly if you're using air dry paints, because you will get little black specks of debris, dust, whatever, while you're painting, and I either blow it away or just brush it away with my finger as I go along, or I use a toothpick after the paint has already dried and set, and just flick it off the black spots with a toothpick. So always have a toothpick handy, always have a paper towel handy to wipe off debris. And the latest thing that I've learned is this glass and tile medium, which I use to make the air dry paints adhere to the vinyl. I mix that in with the paints as well as distilled water. Is that the instructions tell you that you need to stir it, not shake it, but to stir it. So you absolutely need a wooden stick to stir it, because there is a great deal of sediment that settles to the bottom that's actually the part that you want the most on your doll. So I've learned that too, stirring it every time. Stir, stir, stir every time. So that's Moby with 2 coats of flesh on her so far. And while I remember, I wanted to give you those tips. So the first tip, remember what limb you're on and have the same pattern each time so that it's easier for you to have the same number of coats on each limb. Be sure and use a better quality cosmetic wedge like the Equate brand, and always use a toothpick. Have one nearby to flick off any black spots, and stir, stir, stir if you're using this medium. Also, you can never have too many coats of paint. Just make sure that they're not thick, or the baby will look like it's painted instead of skin. And then start your mottling layers early in the process, because you're going to put a lot of coats on top of that, and it'll look like it's under the skin more, as well as the veining. The veining you should start early too. And I have some blue already mixed to start the veins as well. And also have good lighting. I have this light focused directly on my workspace. Good lighting is a must. And I'm in front of our windows. Windows are behind me with lots of light coming from behind. I also have my overhead light on, as well as this spotlight. So good lighting is very, very important. All right, that's it. I am going now, and stay tuned for more progress on Moby. Bye-bye.